Welcome to African Heritage Hub, the home of Africa's timeless history, heroes, and heritage. Step into the untold history of Africa, the stories before independence, the struggles that shaped nations, and the visionaries who dreamed of freedom. At African Heritage Hub, we uncover the lives of Africa's pioneers, explore rich cultures, and review the powerful movements that built the continent's future. Every episode brings to light the forgotten chapters, celebrates true African heroes, and honors the spirit of resilience and hope that lives on today. At African Heritage Hub, history is remembered, heritage is celebrated, and legacy is preserved. Subscribe and journey with us through Africa's timeless story. In this episode, we talk about Hezekiah Rabala Ochuka, the man who ruled Kenya for 6 hours. Hezekiah Rabala Ochuka was born on 23 July 1953 and died on 9 July 1987. He was a senior private in the Kenya Air Force who led the failed 1982 coup attempt against President Daniel Arap Moi. Despite his low military rank, Ochuka briefly assumed control of the Kenya government for approximately 6 hours on 1 August 1982, making him the only Kenyan to have ever claimed power through a military coup. Hezekiah was born in Nyakach, Kisumu district. Ochuka grew up in a modest household, experiencing the everyday struggles of rural Kenya in the post-independence era. He attended Naki Kabete Primary School and later Mirogi Secondary School, where he showed a keen interest in technical subjects, seeking a better future. Ochuka joined the Kenya Air Force on 14 September 1976. He underwent basic military training at Lanet Army Barracks in Nakuru, developing fundamental skills in discipline and military conduct. Between 1978 and 1980, he was selected for a course in electrical instrumentation at RAF Cosford in the United Kingdom, an opportunity that exposed him to more sophisticated military technologies. Despite completing the course successfully, upon returning to Kenya, Ochuka's career advancement remained limited and he held the rank of Senior Private Grade 1, one of the lowest enlisted ranks in the military hierarchy. His frustration with slow career progress and political dissatisfaction brewing among junior officers laid the groundwork for future rebellion. The political atmosphere in Kenya during the late 1970s and early 1980s was tense. After the death of President Jomo Kenyatta in 1978, Daniel Arap Moi ascended to power, initially seen as a transitional figure. Moi soon consolidated his authority, sidelining political opponents and tightening his grip on government institutions. Among the armed forces, particularly within the Kenya Air Force, dissatisfaction grew, fueled by perceptions of tribal favorism, poor working conditions, and lack of career progression. Ochuka, along with a small group of disgruntled officers, began to plan a coup to overthrow Moi's government. They envisioned replacing the existing regime with a new leadership that, in this review, would better serve the interests of ordinary. In the early hours of 1 August 1982, Ochuka, alongside Sergeant Pancras Oteyo Okumu and other Kenyan Air Force personnel, executed their plan. They first seized control of Eastleigh and Embakasi air bases in Nairobi, strategic locations critical to their success. With air superiority momentarily under their command, they moved quickly to the Voice of Kenya, national broadcaster. Here, they consulted veteran broadcaster Leonard Mambo Mbotela to announce over the airwaves that President Moi had been overthrown and that the country was now under the authority of the People's Redemption Council led by Ochuka. However, despite these initial moves, the coup was poorly coordinated. Many soldiers lacked clear instructions and were more interested in looting and celebrating than executing strategic tasks. Attempts to seize State House, detain senior government officials, and control other vital infrastructures failed. Moreover, there was little support from the broader military, particularly the Army and the General Service Unit, the GSU. Chief of General Staff Mahmoud Mohammed rapidly organized loyalist forces. By midday, a counterattack was underway. Fighter jets loyal to the government bombed the rebel held the air bases, demoralizing the mountaineers. By the afternoon, the coup was collapsed. The government control was restored. Facing imminent capture, Ochuka fled to neighboring Tanzania. In Tanzania, Ochuka sought asylum, believing President Julius Nyerere's socialist leaning government might offer him protection. Initially, Tanzanian authorities seemed accommodating, but under intense diplomatic pressure from Kenya and worry of straining bilateral relationships, Tanzania arrested Ochuka and several other key coup plotters. They were extradited back to Kenya, where they faced court-martials. The trials were conducted with great attention from both the public and the international observers. Ochuka, alongside key conspirators, was convicted of treason, the gravest offense under Kenyan law. On July 9, 1987, after exhausting all avenues of clemency, Hezekiah Ochuka was executed by hanging at Kamiti Maximum Security Prison. His execution, along with that of several co-conspirators, marked one of the final instances of capital punishment carried out in Kenya. He left a legacy. The 1982 coup attempt had profound consequences for Kenya's political and military structure. In its immediate aftermath, the Kenya Air Force was disbanded, only to be reconstituted later under stricter government control and closer loyalty. The Moi government, feeling vulnerable, enacted constitutional amendments that transformed Kenya into a déjà vu one-party state. Political freedoms shrank, and dissent was increasingly met with detention and repression. For ordinary Kenyans, the failed coup became a symbol of both potential for change and dangers of instability. For President Moi, it justifies the further consolidation of power, arguably delaying democratic reforms for years. Ochuka remains a controversial figure, viewed by some as a reckless mountaineer and by others as a man of driven to desperate action by deep systematic inequalities. Thank you for watching. Let's keep Africa's story alive, one legend at a time. Another story told, another legacy remembered. This is African Heritage Hub, honoring the spirit of Africa. See you soon.